You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, an 88-year-old woman from Stella, Missouri dies in a highway crash.
The sun as it dawns over the 4 states on this Tuesday morning, not enough to combat the cold front. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Also, we'll meet a toddler who went on a $2,000 spending spree at Walmart. Oh yeah, that happens. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. New charges for a Carthage man after he tries to escape custody during a court hearing. Authorities say 21-year-old Jacob Jones appeared in a pre-trial conference on Monday for a 2019 charge of tampering with a motor vehicle. During that hearing, authorities say Jones tried to run from the courtroom but was caught by deputies and got into a struggle. 2 deputies received minor injuries. Jones is now facing 2 counts of assault of a law enforcement officer, property damage, and resisting arrest. An 88-year-old woman from Stella, Missouri dies after a crash near Granby. It happened just before 3:15 on Monday afternoon. Missouri Highway Patrol says Betty Rowe crossed into the path of a semi on US 60 and was hit. Rowe died at the scene. The driver of the semi was not hurt. People can now order at-home COVID-19 tests from the government or buy them from stores, and health experts have some tips to help you get the most accurate results. When receiving these tests, it's important to read the instructions thoroughly and follow them. Jessica Liberty at Freeman says a crucial step is the way you collect your specimen.
I mean, you want to swish it around, touch all of your nostril hairs. It's going to itch. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to make your eyes water. That means that you're collecting it appropriately. And you're going to do that in both of your nostrils. And we want it to be damp and wet with some of your discharge, because that means that there's going to be some type of specimen on that tip.
Liberty says by doing this, you can collect enough from each nostril to detect a viral load so you can have more accurate test results. A new free COVID testing site in Pittsburgh has already experienced delays in sending out results. The Seeds of Hope testing site opened yesterday. Officials say the lab that processes the results is dealing with a backlog of tests and a snowstorm, so there have been delays getting results. Still, Seeds of Hope says the site helps reduce the strain on hospitals.
Trying to help alleviate the spread of infection. So instead of going into the hospital, you're more than welcome to come here, stay in your car, and we could test you, so where then others aren't getting infected if you feel that you might be infected with COVID.
Seeds of Hope does only PCR testing. While it is free starting on Wednesday, the site will require a copy of your insurance card if you have one. Downtown Pittsburgh has a brand new mural, and the surrounding businesses want you to help name it. The 12-foot by 29-foot mural features a tiger on the side of Main Street Axe Company's building. It was designed and painted by Pitt State art students. Now Main Street Axe Company is reaching out to people on social media to come up with names for the tiger.
I hope it shows the community that we're here for not only to offer a fun activity, but also to give back a little bit. So I hope it gives some goodwill.
To give your suggestion, all you have to do is follow the Main Street Axe Company on Facebook or Instagram, tag yourself in a picture of the mural, and comment your name idea. An Oklahoma high school makes life a little more comfortable for cancer patients in Joplin. Family and Consumer Sciences class at Blue Jacket Public Schools in Oklahoma created port pillows. Those are little pillows that can attach to seat belts or purse straps to protect the patient's port where chemo meds are administered. Now, some of the students have family members who experience port discomfort when dealing with cancer, while others have lost loved ones to the disease.
Just that compassion and empathy, I think, is so important, and I don't think we're born with that. I think that we have to learn that.
The port pillow donations started last year. Well, Krispy Kreme is trying to help as the U.S. faces its worst blood shortage in over a decade. The chain is offering free donuts this week to help people who donate blood. To get a free dozen, customers have to order in person and show their donation sticker. They can also confirm their donation on the Red Cross Blood Donor app. Since March of 2020, the Red Cross says it has seen a 10% drop in donations. Factors include canceled blood drives, staffing limitations, weather-related closures, and of course, a surge in COVID-19 cases.
Of course, it wasn't that long ago where we had Paul Lyle from the Red Cross right here in our studio as he talked about the national shortage. And also, too, Paul told us about the very unique contest that the American Red Cross is running, where if you donate blood, you're entered nationwide to win a full VIP package experience, including tickets to the Super Bowl.
That's not bad.
That ain't a bad gig.
Neither are the Krispy Kremes.
Especially when you're saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please, if all of you out there have time, like Paul was telling us, this truly is important. And remember, you can save a life by helping out. And all you have to do is go to the website at American Red Cross, and it'll give you a list of donation events and sites that are close to you. It doesn't take any time at all. Tanya, let's take a look at our 24-hour temperature change. 24-degree difference from where we stand in Joplin right now to where we were on a Monday morning. How about Lincoln, Nebraska? A 42-degree drop. It is a pretty Tuesday morning, that's for sure. There's a live look outside of Television City. We're down to 15 right now in Iowa. Joplin dropping to 18. When we started the 5 o'clock hour, we were all the way up still in the mid-20s right there. And even Miami slipping now down into the low 20s along with Neosho that's at 19. Daily Almanac for this January 25th, coming off of a Monday where we got up to 61 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport. We should be around 45 for the afternoon. No, not going to happen today, that is for sure. With wind chills in the single digits for the central and northern portions, even the people that are, if your community's in double digits, you're barely hanging on to it. Weather trend for today, sunny skies early, increased clouds, highs around the freezing mark, if not a little bit above. And then as we work through future track, we're going to be dry today, but by the time we get to tomorrow morning, it's actually going to be colder Wednesday morning than what it was this morning. So don't put away the winter clothes as of yet. But then look at this. By the time we get to the weekend right there, we're going to bebop right back into the 50s.
Well, up next, Jasmine Kyle from the SCK Humane Society and special guest Mabel drop in the studio to talk about pet adoptions and an upcoming chili feed. And later, Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's optimistic Omicron will peak in February. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. With less than 2 weeks to go before the Winter Olympics, Beijing has confirmed 6 new COVID-19 cases among personnel related to the Games. That's according to a statement from the Olympics Committee. 4 of the infections were new arrivals who tested positive at Chinese customs before entering the closed loop on Sunday. 1 was an athlete or an official. 3 others were Olympic-related personnel. Chinese authorities have implemented a closed loop system for the Games. That's a bubble completely cut off from the rest of the city to limit the spread of the infection. The COVID-19 vaccine could eventually become a yearly shot. At least that's the hope of Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. In an interview with an Israeli news outlet, he says he wants people to get a yearly COVID-19 vaccine like the flu instead of them having to get a booster every several months. Bourla said it would be easier to convince people to get vaccinated that way. Right now, Pfizer's looking to create a vaccine that protects against Omicron and some of the other variants. And Dr. Anthony Fauci says the U.S. is now going in the right direction when it comes to containing the Omicron surge. Fauci cautions against overconfidence, but says the U.S. wave looks like it's going in the right direction. But that doesn't mean we're in the clear just yet. As Alexandra Field reports, deaths, which we know are a lagging indicator, are still on the rise.
Free COVID test kits and free high-quality masks starting to make their way to Americans as Omicron cases fall off sharply in the Northeast, a sign that the worst of this wave could be behind us soon.
There are still some states in the southern states and western states that continue to go up. But if the pattern follows the trend that we're seeing in other places, such as the Northeast, I believe that you will start to see a turnaround throughout the entire country.
The strategy for what comes next is coping.
Control means you're not eliminating it, you're not eradicating it, but it gets down to such a low level into the general respiratory infections that we have learned to live with.
But the death toll climbs, again averaging more than 2,000 daily. With vaccinated people experiencing mild symptoms, if any at all, there are more calls to change the thinking when it comes to restrictions.
It's time at this crucial, pivotal moment to better calibrate harms, to weigh the harms of the virus itself against the harms of the restrictions.
Virginia's governor saying parents can opt into or out of school mask requirements as 7 major districts file suit to stop the order. Schools shouldn't get rid of masks yet, according to former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb.
So to withdraw it right at the peak of the epidemic, I think is imprudent. We should wait. I think within 2 weeks we'll be able to make that decision.
Gottlieb later tweeting, as conditions improve in the U.S., we must be willing to relax provisions as aggressively as we implemented them. The fury over pandemic protocols erupting again over the weekend in an anti-vaccine mandate march in Washington, D.C., marked by outrageous and bigoted remarks.
Even in Hitler's Germany, you could cross the Alps into Switzerland. You can hide in an attic like Anne Frank did.
While public figures continue to traffic in misinformation, Basketball Hall of Famer John Stockton falsely suggesting vaccines have killed more than 100 athletes, a statement with no basis in fact. Gonzaga University now pulling his season tickets for refusing to mask up at games.
All right, on another note, how would you like to spend your vacation this year? May only be January, but it's not too early to plan. In fact, it's the exact right time. Today marks National Plan Your Vacation Day. Of course, there's the day for that. There's a day for everything. It's a reminder to take stock of your time off for the year and start booking now. Each year, American workers leave more than 600 million vacation days on the table. Michael, don't be one of the chumps working for free. No matter how much your boss would love it, you earned it. Now use it. Experts say people who plan time off early take more extended vacations. Perhaps not surprisingly, they're also happier with their jobs, relationships, and health. There you go.
I think I just got called a chump on air, folks.
I said your name before I said chump, not after.
First off, I did not know there was a National Plan Your Vacation Day.
You should have assumed.
So this is news. Now, as far as my vacation, I'm a huge fan of the Go-Go's. So yes, when I am doing laundry and dishes, I guarantee that in the course of my playlist, vacation comes on.
Oh, okay.
Well, shout out Belinda Carlisle.
You know, looking at the video of people at the beach, I'm thinking that's going to be on my list.
Yeah, especially considering what we're about to talk about. I was thinking that same thing. I'm like, a little sand and sun doesn't look too bad right now.
Maybe a hotel room where you don't have to clean up.
How about we just get back to the freezing mark? Oh yeah. Let's do that. Here's where it all fell apart, Tanya. It was yesterday evening. We made it up to 61 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport. And then we hit that transition period, and it truly was the wind shifting. Came in from the southwest yesterday. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then probably right here, about 6, 7 o'clock, that's where it shifted. And down we went from 60 all the way right now to 18 degrees at 7th and Rangeline, with a wind chill that has now dropped to 5 degrees in Joplin. And once again, we can just go ahead and blame the old wind to go along with that Canadian cold front. Our temperatures, these are actual temperatures, not wind chills. Actual temperatures ranging from 15 to 23. And if we consider where we were at this point in time yesterday, anywhere from about 20 to 25 degrees. Look, Iowa, a 30-degree difference, and even everybody down to the south is eventually going to end up at about a 20-degree drop. Here is what it feels like when you walk out the door. 7 in Pittsburgh and in Lamar, 9 in Carthage, Mount Vernon, throw Parsons in at 9 as well. All the cloud cover we did have down to the south, now moving off right along the Missouri-Arkansas state line. So we'll get some sunshine early before we get the redevelopment of additional cloud cover. Look out here in western Kansas, even lasting into the central portion right there. I got a good old-fashioned winter storm warning. They could get anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of snow, but this thing will dive off to the south and break up before it gets to us. Not going to really affect us. Then we've even got some flood warnings down in the deep south along the Gulf Coast, stretching to the mid-Atlantic with the amount of thunderstorm activity that they'll encounter, not only for this morning, but really all throughout the day. Once again, it'd be nice to say we could get above the freezing mark consistently, and we will beginning tomorrow. That's just not going to happen today. We're going to be around between about 32, 35 degrees. Overnight, cloud cover begins to develop, but then we clear off, and what that does is actually makes tomorrow morning even chillier than what we'll have this morning. We also talked about some flurries in the 7-day forecast. Just watch the bottom of your screen here. It'll be Wednesday into Thursday, and it'll shoot by so fast that we really won't get any accumulation from it, and we're not going to hamper any of our travel. There it is, coming right through right there, and luckily not a whole lot of freezing drizzle or anything associated with it. Then we begin our jaunt back up into the 50s by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. We got a special guest in the studio. We're going to come in, check in with Jasmine Kyle right after this.
Well, Jasmine, Kyle from the SEK Humane Society is back in the studio again with this morning, and she's brought in Mabel.
Yeah, so this is Mabel. She is a 3-month-old German Shepherd Husky mix. Her and her brother Sarge, unfortunately, were found outside of our facility taped in a box. When we got the kids out, we quickly found out that they had walking issues and had swimmer syndrome, which is an uncommon developmental deformity where their hind legs will splay out, they can't walk. So there's really one biggest treatment for that, and that is physical therapy. So for the last month, our staff have been working around the clock with getting these guys exercise, better food quality, nutrition, and just physical therapy for their legs. And a few weeks ago when we had that first snowstorm here in Pittsburgh, we took the kids out to experience the snow for the first time, and they just started to walk and then run and then jump, and then we all started to cry. So they have been coming in leaps and bounds, and we're so blessed to see that their progress is doing so well. Enough that we're going to officially open up foster applications for them for foster to adopt homes.
That's awesome, and you can find out more information about that on your website and even apply online as well.
Exactly.
Which is so cool.
Oh, big yawn.
So Mabel, and what's her brother's name?
Yeah, so his name is Sarge. So Mabel is the calmest of the two, but Sarge, they're just babies at the same time. They're just 3 months of age, so. But they are German Shepherd Husky mixes, and they are going to be fairly larger dogs, but super great dogs, super sweet.
Oh, well, you know, a lot of work and time went into doing the physical therapy for them, and you guys do this for lots and lots of dogs and take in lots of dogs, feed lots of dogs. Of course, all of that takes money and it requires fundraisers, and you've got a very big one coming up.
Yeah, we have our largest one. We're bringing it back this year. It is our 45th annual chili dinner event. It's always on the big game Sunday, February 13th this year. We're going to be at the Memorial Auditorium from noon to 3, and for the first time ever, we are doing no indoor dining, no tickets. It is 3 drive-through lanes. We have never done this format before. We're very blessed to have the city's help with this event and getting everything figured out. But for COVID precautions, we're doing 3 drive-through lanes. You just pull on up. We're going to do cash check and even card lanes this year. We're selling $8 dinner meals that include a bowl of our famous homemade chili, a dessert item, a drink, crackers, or of course you can buy our quarts and you can take it for your big game night that night, so you don't have to worry about cooking.
Yeah, that's the best part is, you know, you've got a lot of people coming over. You want to make sure you have enough food. Why not help out a good organization? A no-kill shelter in the area.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Our chili, and we do 500 pounds of it alone, it's all homemade. 350 pounds of meat we get locally from Ron's Supermarket. That Saturday beforehand, we cook everything from scratch for 6 to 8 hours just to get everything prepped. And then the next day, it is ready to be served to our community. So everything is local, and it's delicious, and it goes to help a great cause for these guys.
Do you have enough volunteers at this point?
We need volunteers. So it is on our Facebook page, but I have included my email link. We're needing about 20 to 30 volunteers right now, from anywhere from help with our kitchen hands to helping in the drive-through lanes to traffic control, just because we've never done this type of drive-through service before. So yeah, we're looking for about 20 to 30 extra hands right now, and it's not all day. You can sign up for a time slot because, again, it's going to be February. It's going to be a little bit cold, so you don't have to worry about being there from 11 to 3 o'clock. We've got about 1 to 2 hour time slots, so you can take your time, do your part to help us out, but quickly get home and get back warmed up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and just remember, it all goes to a good cause, helping out little ones like Mabel. Hopefully we'll have great news Understand we got the two from last time adopted.
Yes,
so
Mason
that's amazing.
and Dixon, the brothers, got to go home together, and now we're hoping that we can find some quick homes for Mabel and her brother Sarge.
Right, and of course there's lots of other dogs looking and cats looking
Yes.
for a good home, a new permanent home for them as well. And you can find all of their pictures on your website.
Yes, yeah, we're still near full capacity. So, and if you've been thinking about adopting, now is the time. Over 70% of our dogs are sponsored right now, and especially if you live in the state of Kansas, 30 miles from our shelter, you fall within our fostering guidelines. So we can do a foster to adopt contract with you. So if you need more time, you want a month-long experience, we can make that happen. For our fosters, we provide everything: food, blankets, all the supplies. You provide the love and time, we'll provide everything else.
That's amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for coming in. It was wonderful to meet you, Mabel.
Yes,
I'm hoping
thank you.
You will have a new home very soon.
We hope so too.
And not my fingers. All right, we'll be right back.
We take this time to honor this morning's four-state hero. First Lieutenant Lonnie Nelson served in the United States Army since 2004, including time overseas, a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and a native of Parsons, Kansas. We thank you, First Lieutenant Lonnie Nelson, this morning's four-state hero. A New Jersey toddler is not even 2 years old, and he's already famous as a champion shopper. Jeannie Moose with his story as his parents were dumbfounded when box after box after box began arriving on their doorstep.
Can I have my phone, please?
He's like a little king on his throne, a throne of boxed furniture he somehow managed to order from Walmart, totaling $1,786. No wonder his dad added the tagline, "I love shopping."
My wife was thinking that I did it, but then I was thinking that she did it.
It turns out he did it. His mom had placed a dozen or so chairs in her Walmart shopping cart, intending to pick out a couple later. But 22-month-old Ayansh Kumar ordered everything using his mom's phone. His parents didn't realize until...
The people are coming with the boxes, large boxes, and they were just dropping. So one box came, two boxes came.
Now there's a giant pile of boxes at their Monmouth Junction, New Jersey home, unopened because they hope to return most of it. Walmart seems willing.
Your customer service person, she was laughing so much. Oh my God.
But they won't return everything.
So we are thinking to keep few items as a memory.
A little souvenir of his first shopping spree.
First shopping, yeah.
The Kumars removed their debit card from the account, so Ayansh can't do any more damage. As for the $1,786... Well, you got a lot of chairs for that.
Yeah, I know. Do you want some?
They're even letting the neighbors know that this is the home of the world-famous New Jersey toddler and little rock star. When someday their son hears, "Attention Walmart shoppers," that means you, kid, perhaps the youngest Walmart shopper. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Shopaholic. Another half hour of news and weather coming your way on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 as the largest school board in the state of Virginia files suit against its governor over mask mandate rollbacks. And we take you to a pub offering child care. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:33. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A Carthage man is facing new charges after he tried to escape custody during a court hearing. Authorities say 21-year-old Jacob Jones appeared in a pre-trial conference on Monday for a 2019 charge of tampering with a motor vehicle. During that hearing, authorities say Jones tried to run from the courtroom, but was caught by deputies and got into a struggle. 2 deputies received minor injuries. Jones is now facing 2 counts of assault of a law enforcement officer, property damage, and resisting arrest. An 88-year-old woman from Stella, Missouri is dead after a crash near Granby. It happened just before 3:15 Monday afternoon. Missouri Highway Patrol says Betty Rowe crossed into the path of a semi on US 60 and was hit. Rowe died at the scene. The driver of the semi was not hurt. There's a new mural in downtown Pittsburgh, and now the surrounding businesses want help naming it. The 12-foot by 29-foot mural features a tiger on the side of the Main Street Axe Company building. It was designed and painted by Pitt State art students. And now Main Street Axe Company is reaching out to people on social media to come up with names for the tiger.
I hope it shows the community that we're here for not only to offer a fun activity, but also to give back a little bit. So I hope it gives some goodwill.
To give your suggestion, all you have to do is follow the Main Street Axe Company on Facebook or Instagram, tag yourself in a picture of the mural, and comment your name idea. Oklahoma High School is helping make life a little more comfortable for cancer patients in Joplin. Family and Consumer Sciences class at Blue Jacket Public Schools in Oklahoma created port pillows. Those are little pillows that can attach to seat belts or purse straps to protect the patient's port. Chemo meds are administered, and some of the students have family members who experience port discomfort when dealing with cancer, while others have lost loved ones to the disease.
Just that compassion and empathy, I think, is so important, and I don't think we're born with that. I think that we have to learn that.
Port pillow donations started last year. 20 panda cubs made their public debut at the Wolong National Nature Preserve in southwestern China on Monday. Panda toddlers, ranging from 120 to 190 days old, were seen crawling on snow through toy sleds and skis at the debut ceremony, marking the year of the tiger in the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics. China Conservation and Research Center for Giant Pandas in Sichuan Province said 27 pandas were delivered in 2021. An official for the center said that in 2021, 10 female pandas were selected for a breeding plan to maintain good genetic diversity, with artificial breeding also taking place in order to teach mothers how to care for their cubs. Oh, I love these pandas. There are currently 356 pandas living in the center.
They look much happier when they're on the lawn by themselves than they did trying to take that group shot with all the handlers.
Yeah.
The pandas did not look excited about that.
How do you it's just like regular toddler. I mean, just don't hand them your cell phone, because who knows what they would try to order.
Like herding cats.
Ooh.
We change that. Like herding pandas out there.
They're so cute.
Say hello to the glow cloud. Now, it'd be nice if it would actually warm us up a little bit, but we're not going to have much of that today. 18 degrees is where we stand over Joplin, so we still are dropping inch by inch here, with a wind chill now down to 5 degrees. Here are our actual temperatures, even down to the south, where we were in the high 20s earlier this morning. We're now down to 23 in Miami, 19 and 18 in Neosho and Monette, respectively. And it all had to deal with that wind shifting in from the northeast overnight. It's still coming in here at double digits, gusting up to 20 miles per hour is what we'll see for the afternoon. And that's why we're just not going to have much of a warm up. And that's why our wind chills are as low as 5 there in Fort Scott. Of course, we saw 5 in Joplin. 10 degrees is what we're hanging on to in Cassville and in Chetopa. Clean Skywatch storm tracker. That's why we'll have plenty of sunshine to begin with. We'll get a little bit of cloud cover during the afternoon and evening hours. They got a good old-fashioned winter storm out there in western Kansas. That won't affect us, but they've got some warnings and watches galore, and pressing just on the other side of the Rockies through the Sunflower State. Highs today for us right around freezing, maybe just a little bit better than that. But tomorrow morning, lock in. It's going to be colder tomorrow morning than what it was this morning. We'll probably throw up some zeros, maybe even see a negative wind chill before tomorrow's said and done. Then we finally get daily highs that are back into the 40s, and it's going to be a thing of the past by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. We'll be right back into the 50s. And we'll be back with more KOAM morning news on Fox 14 right after this.
Canar Eye Care frequently sees patients with eye strain issues.
This morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll are something to talk about: winter activities. I mean, being as cold as it is, why not? Well, and also for the last 4 decades, the John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon has taken place on Minnesota's North Shore, and it's actually the longest sled dog marathon in the lower 48. And you also have a cub run, is what they call one for the kids. That's a scaled down version. Got a 2.2 mile race that the kids take part in, even quarter mile races Well, yeah, they substitute what we would say quarter mile with cars. They do it in their dog sleds. That's pretty unique right there. Our question for you this morning is, what's your favorite winter activity? And I really can't blame you with what we've experienced this morning and what we're going to have tomorrow morning. There's that right now, 70% of you right there on that bottom line, 70% say, I just want to stay indoors and try to stay warm. And 15%, a distant second, say it'd be nice to have enough snow to build a snowman. Appreciate your engagement. You can take part each and every morning. Go directly to the poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Also find us on Facebook at KOAM News Now. Well, yesterday was the first day students in Virginia public schools could show up with or without a mask. This follows an order from the Virginia governor rolling back what had been a statewide mandate. Now some of the state's largest school districts are vowing to fight the issue in court. Kevin Cork, he's got the latest. He's in D.C.
The debate over masks in schools heating up in Virginia. 7 school boards filing a lawsuit Monday, objecting to Governor Youngkin's recent executive order that made masks optional in public schools. Board members saying in a statement, with COVID-19 transmission rates high, our hospitals at crisis level, and the continued recommendation of health experts to retain universal mask wearing for the time being, this is simply not the time to remove this critical component of layered health and safety mitigation strategies. Youngkin, who took office just a week ago, promised during his campaign to take a new approach to the pandemic, opposing mandates and emphasizing personal choice. The state's attorney general says that philosophy is at the heart of the new policy.
This is about each individual parent reaching their own conclusion of what's best for their child. Let parents make this decision, not school board bureaucrats.
That order went into effect on Monday. Districts say it conflicts with the state constitution and a law that requires schools to follow federal health guidelines. Parents are split.
I'm not sending my children to school with masks because, especially my littlest, she's spent a third of her life in a mask, and I don't think that's fair to her upbringing.
I'm not happy that health concerns are politicized, so I would rather abide more by the CDC guidelines.
The suit is the second one to date opposing Governor Youngkin's order. A group of parents in Chesapeake filed a separate lawsuit just last week. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 and our Consumer Watch right after this.
As fears over inflation and crime continue to rise among Americans, both Republican and Democratic lawmakers are starting to take notice. Fox News White House correspondent Peter Ducey explains.
We focus on the trends in the economy, not any one day and any single indicator.
So the Dow can drop more than 1,100 points in a day without setting off alarm bells at the Biden White House.
I would note that the market is up around 15% compared to when President Biden took office.
But experts blame today's drop on President Biden's year one policies.
All of this spending stuff that they've done, Sandra, has caused the inflation to go up. It's caused the market to come down quite a bit, especially with interest rates and inflation, and the participation rate is falling as well.
This evening, the president tried to highlight what his administration is doing to lower prices.
Let's have a cabinet meeting.
That's as inflation ranks as the #1 issue registered voters are either extremely or very concerned about in a new Fox News poll. And it's being noticed in Democratic districts.
Well, look, people don't wake up in my district like real political people. They're waking up and they're talking about the price of groceries, the price of gas. They're talking about crime.
Right. Higher U.S. crime rates are the #2 issue voters are most concerned about right now.
On crime, to follow up on what Ed was asking about, would you agree that the most important job for any president is to keep Americans safe?
I would agree.
So you said that the president's never satisfied if people don't feel safe. Does he know that after a year in office, people do not feel safe in this country?
Well, Peter, I think if we look at the facts here, we've seen a surge of crime over the last 2 years.
So they think crime was bad when they got here, and there is no plan to change up the crime fighting plan that they put into place when they got here, even as violent crime and murder stats trend in the wrong direction. At the White House, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
The supply chain crisis has gone too far now, affecting the iconic Girl Scout cookies. Uh-oh. The Washington Post reports a mixture of high demand and COVID-related labor shortages had limited the number of Girl Scouts' latest cookie adventurefuls. The adventurefuls feature a brownie-like cookie with a caramel and chocolate. Although no one has tried them yet, they've become a must-have for Girl Scout cookie lovers across the nation. I can't wait to try these. The affected bakery is Little Brownie Bakers, which provides cookies for 70 of the 100 Scout councils in the U.S. Organization is now forced to limit Scout groups to selling 7% of the minimum initial order amount. Now, I was reading about this, and I did see that the Girl Scouts found an additional baker to help with their supply needs. So don't worry, you can still order them. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Do you play at casinos?
Finding childcare not always easy, and for many people, the pandemic has only made the situation worse. There is one business, though. It's in South Carolina. It seems to have found a solution for its employees who have young children. Austin Westfall with the story on a restaurant that has hired its own childcare staff.
Although McGee's is technically called a pub, the owners say that it's more of a restaurant. And this restaurant has a room in it with a licensed childcare provider, and the parents that work here say it's a lifesaver.
I mean, honestly, without them, I don't know where I'd be working.
If you want more fries, let us know, okay?
Summer Rochester is a fry cook at McGee's Scott Irish Pub, and her 2-year-old son is the reason that she applied to work here. About 6 months ago, the restaurant hired a licensed childcare worker to watch over staffers' kids.
I was paying $600 a month for childcare, so that got pretty rough on us.
And it's completely free.
We don't think people should have to choose between having a family and having a career.
Co-owner Dixie Banka says adding the childcare was an experiment, but it's proven to be a huge help for 9 parents who would otherwise have to seek out childcare, like expediter Benita Russell and her 12-year-old son.
And seen servers, call and say, I just can't get a babysitter, so I can't come in. So this has really been a blessing.
Employer-based childcare has been going on for years.
The National Child Care Association says that large companies are the ones that would usually offer something like child care benefits, but child care at small businesses is a relatively new idea.
I mean, it caught on like wildfire.
McGee's felt the same hiring challenges that many restaurants faced during the pandemic, but the new incentive has turned things around.
And now we're fully staffed.
Now, there are certain guidelines for child care programs like this. For example, here in the state of South Carolina, this child care program cannot have kids stay here for longer than 4 hours. So a lot of the parents that are taking advantage of the program often have shorter shifts. But still, many of these parents say that they hope that this idea spreads to other small businesses because it's helped them in their everyday life so much. For now, here in Anderson, South Carolina, Austin Westfall, Fox.
Seems even with a shorter shift, though, the cost reward of that is a tremendous idea by those people. Let's start with a live look outside of Television City and run through this. Here's the key factor for the next 48 hours. Try to stay warm because we've got everything from, say 14 degrees in Iola, and we're only at 23 right now in Miami and Grove. Now, we will get up around the freezing mark, if not a little bit above for the afternoon hours. Increased cloud cover. But please remember that tomorrow morning, actually going to be colder than what we experienced this morning. Wind chills ranging from about, say 0 to 6 for tomorrow. So multi-layers. Those chances for flurries, those are going to be light, mainly down to the south. They're going to sprint through so quickly, probably not even going to notice it. And I'm sorry, kiddos, it's not going to be enough to build your snowman. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Russia continues to amass its military along the Ukrainian border despite warnings from the U.S. and NATO. About 127,000 Russian soldiers have taken up positions in the region. The White House has promised a firm response to any hostilities against its allies. And yesterday, the Pentagon placed 8,500 troops on standby ahead of a possible deployment to Eastern Europe. The World Health Organization says the emergency phase of the pandemic could end this year if at least 70% of the global population were immunized. It's estimated that just over 52% have been fully vaccinated to date. And the Supreme Court is going to re-examine the issue of affirmative action in higher education. This fall, the court will hear a pair of cases challenging the constitutionality of the race-based admissions policies at Harvard and UNC. Let's check in with Michael with a final look at your forecast.
Got a whole lot of sunshine early. Increased cloud cover today. It's just going to be a cold one all day long. And clouds, no precipitation, so at least we don't have to worry about anything flipping over on us. Then we get into tomorrow morning. Hui! Okay, look at that. Just keep on dropping down. Now the nice thing is our daily highs do get into the 40s beginning tomorrow. We'll carry that all the way to Friday, and then we'll pop up to the 50s for Saturday and Sunday.
Well, we've had a few animals on the show today. We've had dog sledding huskies, a husky available for adoption here in the 4 states, panda cubs, and now a hippo. On Monday, January 24th, Fiona the hippo turned 5 years old. The Cincinnati Zoo celebrated the milestone by making a cake of Fiona's favorite produce and snacks. The zoo staff were unsure if Fiona would make it as she was born prematurely back in 2017. However, she beat the odds, and boy did she make it. Another gift was given to Fiona, her own team baseball jersey from the Cincinnati Reds.
I would love to know what number she was donning.
Yeah. That's a pretty big jersey.
Nick Castellanos is a free agent. Give me Fiona. I'm going to bat her third. Probably play as good as left field as he can. I love you, Nick Castellanos. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather.